Well, this time out on the Rusty Pilot, I watched Flying with Trent, and he had a low time, don't die, maybe 50 hours to 300 hours video up, and I was like, you know, we need a Rusty Pilot version of that one too. So today it's Sunday. I'm headed out to a local airport to do a little recurrent training, and that's where all Rusty Pilots start, obviously. But we're going to start covering how to effectively come back, because what you've seen on this channel so far is how I stumbled and fumbled a whole bunch in coming back. So one of the first things that happened when I came back, and I think anybody coming back is going to have to get used to, is the electronic flight back. Like today I'm headed out to fly Piper 140 with the 6-pack, which is what I left 25 years ago. But in coming back, I quickly found out there was a lot of glass, and we had a lot of glass in the plane I ended up buying. And I would say that investing some time in like sporties, there is some Garmin instruction there. If you have Avidyne or one of those, they produce their own. But getting up to speed on an electronic flight bag will help you out a lot. Before you even pick up that electronic flight bag though, finding an instructor, keyest part of this, because you're going to have to go back out and do basic maneuvers, and you've slowed down. I've slowed down. It was 25 years between being in the airplane and being at the controls, and I promise you, my reaction times were sluggish. And you know, I'll post a few videos right here of being sluggish, especially the bad bounce out at Rockwall in Texas. But you are just not going to be as fast. And I would say coming back is probably harder to do than starting new into being a pilot when you're 20, 25-year-old with your reactions versus being a 50-plus-year-old coming back thinking you know a little bit. I think I was pretty humble in my comeback that I knew I didn't know anything, and I just started with the basics. But finding a good instructor early on is going to be a hard part of it, and I would say to go find an older gentleman that can maybe empathize and sympathize with you being an older gentleman. All right, here we are in Oklahoma getting ready to fly a 140 just to do a little crosswind practice. Very open. It's in a place I can't even pronounce the name. Chickasaw something or another, but right outside of Oklahoma City. We're going to get in there, and one of the ways not to die in the airplane as a Rusty Pilot when you come back is to practice proficiency constantly. My airplane's down for a new engine right now, so I just went and found any low-wing airplane I could go get and fly in and fly, and most of all to fly in that. It was supposed to be a lot stronger. It's about 17 knots. It's a good day to have crosswind landings. I'm out here about an hour and a half before we start flying. I was just going to look around at some of the planes. That is probably the dirtiest 150 I think I've ever seen in my whole life right there. I don't know if it's down for maintenance or if it's just that dirty. That is wild. Whole bunch of kids here. Somebody needs to make some money washing airplanes. One of the other things I'd say about coming back from a long layoff in aviation is to take it slow. You know, when you get back in here, the complexity of things needs to be not a whole heck of a lot, just like when you were a private pilot, and then slowly work back up to complexity. I think that there's, you know, like my real bad decision early on to take the family out to Dallas was born out of bad decisions and complexity. And if I had to do that over again, I just wouldn't have done it. I mean, you need to really hang out with a CFI in that airplane for a good long while. I know I did. And then you can increase the task workload and the saturation as you go, and be demanding of the CFIs. You know, don't let them fly the airplane. Make them have to intervene where you can keep learning. I think a lot of times younger guys think it's a help to the older pilot to keep intervening and help them out, much like you see them do to women pilots. But that's not good, because you need to be failing in there where you'll learn from it and come back a little quicker. One of the questions I see a lot is, should I go get a flight simulator? Should I build a flight simulator? And man, I'm gonna say you're not gonna get a lot out of it. I built one at my house, but you're gonna get more out of just going and flying if you can. Now, early on, it's hard to actually find airplane to rent, so that flight simulator may seem like the way to go. It will be for some, but most of them don't have a modern avionics in it. Like the one I bought had like Garmin 530, 430s in it, not a 650, 750, or 1000. I think that learning curve takes a bit because of that, because most of the planes I get in now have that next generation of avionics. So I would be very mindful of that when I was putting a sim together, that I would have access to it, because 430, 530 is basically discontinued at this point. And I'm sure there's a lot of rental aircraft with them out there, but my opinion on rental aircraft is don't. If you're older and coming back to this, hopefully you've got enough money to buy something. Spend the $70,000 to $125,000 to go buy an airplane and get you a partner and a hangar someplace.